Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at the top business stories. Zain board member claims Etisalat's bid will not go through. Qatar keen to invest in British banks RBS and Lloyds. And Barclays wins Lehman Brothers asset case in US court. Let's look at the equity markets first. The UAE bourse is headed in opposite directions today. Dubai's benchmark index, the DFM General Index, lost 1.3% to close at 1,479 points. The utilities sector fell the most, mainly because of National Central Cooling Company, also known as Tabreed. Its shares fell 7.3% to its lowest close since October 2002, after JP Morgan assigned one of the company's convertible bonds an underweight rating. Other stocks to watch today are Arab Tech Holding. The stock fell 2.7% on the DFM. DP World fell 2.7% and Drake & Skull 1.4%, as did index heavyweight Emaar Properties. 54 million shares were traded, valued at 77 million dirhams. And over at the Capital Stock Exchange, the ADX rose 0.2% to close at 2,614 points, with the energy sector posting the strongest gains. Dana Gas rose 1.6%. Shares of Abu Dhabi National Energy Company, also known as TAQA, soared 4.4%. Etisalat was also up by 0.5%. The two largest losers on the ADX were Investment Bank as well as Abu Dhabi Shipbuilding Company. Both dropped 9.8%. Alder Properties also fell by 4.4%, as did Solar Real Estate, with a minus of 2.6%. 54 million shares were traded, valued at 99 million dirhams. And now let's have a look at the GCC markets, which ended mixed today. And to talk about the markets this week, we're now joined by financial analyst Bruce Powers. Hi, Bruce. Welcome to the show. Now tell us, the markets took a real strong beating this week. Looking at next week, what's on your agenda?
Well, investors are very concerned about what's going on in the region, and that is affecting sentiment, and therefore volatility has been increasing. Now, when you look at Dubai, was much weaker this week than Abu Dhabi, and it reached a support area, an area where it previously found support a number of times over the last couple of years, and this is where buyers come in more aggressively and prop up the price. So I think in the short term we'll see that again, and we could see a nice bounce at the beginning, first half of next week. After that, it's open. It's hard to say. In Abu Dhabi is acting a little bit stronger than Dubai, and I expect that to continue. It did not break the low that was hit after the Egypt news a month or so ago, and the drop this week has been much less than Dubai. So I think we'll see a bounce there in the short term as well.
Let's look at the oil markets a bit closer. We had WTI West Texas Intermediate jump over the $100 a barrel mark. Right. Brent even close to 120. It's really scary. Libya is only the 9th largest producer in the 12 OPEC member organization. Tell me, why these strong gains? I don't understand.
Well, investors are concerned about the implications of a disruption in the oil from Libya, as well as potential civil unrest in other oil-producing nations. There are other countries which could have additional problems. Now, Libya only provides about 2%, almost 2% of the world's oil supply.
So that makes me think, okay, then the oil price rises 2%. Logical, no?
Well, it's not that simple, because you have so many variables that are affecting the price. So if you can't get the Libyan oil, now you have to go out and get oil somewhere else, which means you're going to affect the demand on the overall market, and therefore put upside pressure on price. Now, at any time we may see OPEC come in and do something, but I don't expect that in the very short term. Right now, there's too much uncertainty as to how long the problems in Libya might persist, as well as potential issues in other countries.
Jitters in the market. Thank you very much, Bruce. And now to our top stories. A Zain board member reduces Etisalat's hopes to take over the Kuwaiti telecoms operator. The chances for Etisalat to be successful in its attempt to purchase a controlling 46% stake in Zain grew more unlikely yesterday. Sheikh Khalifa Ali Al Sabah, a member of Zain's board of directors, said the absence of a buyer for Zain's Saudi Arabian unit meant the $12 billion takeover could not proceed. One of the conditions for the deal to go through is the sale of the Saudi operations, but Zain rejected all 3 bids for the unit at the beginning of the week. Etisalat already operates in Saudi Arabia, and acquiring Zain's Saudi unit would not be allowed by the country's regulators. Qatar is keen to invest in British banks Royal Bank of Scotland and Lloyds Banking Group. Sheikh Hamdan Al Thani, Qatar's Prime Minister and CEO of the country's sovereign wealth fund, told the BBC he was very open to an investment in the UK. In the past, Qatari investors have acquired a large number of high-profile assets in Britain, including the luxury department store Harrods or part of the supermarket chain Sainsbury's. The talks were part of a wider strategy to invest in Western banks, particularly in Europe. DO announces the launch of a submarine cable to connect Europe with India. Along with DO, 15 other telecom operators will build a high-capacity fiber optic submarine cable that spans from Europe to India. As one of the leading members of the consortium, DO will contribute $50 million to the $700 million project. The new Europe-India Gateway submarine cable will provide much-needed diversity for broadband traffic, which currently relies on traditional routes from Europe to India. And in our fast financial news, air passenger traffic in the UAE will grow over 10% this year. That's according to the International Air Transport Association. The global airline industry was experiencing a shift eastwards, according to the IATA. The UAE was at the forefront of growth in the region because of its good position as a travel hub. The IATA expects the traveling Middle Eastern middle class to double or triple in numbers by 2030, but to remain steady in Europe and in the US. The National Bank of Abu Dhabi has won the Best Arranger of Middle Eastern Loans award from London-based financial publication Euroweek. NBAD is the first bank from the region to win this award. Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi, HSBC and Standard Chartered were the runners-up for the award. Dubai now has its own gold vending machine. The ATM spits out pure gold nuggets and coins and has become so popular among Dubai Mall shoppers that it has to be filled up several times a week. The machine works just like a normal ATM, just that whatever shines is in fact real gold. And up next, we take a look at the business news from around the globe.